It's been about 1 year since we bought our abandoned house. We bought the house in February 2019, started clearing the garden, cleared the inside, worked more on the garden, did a Shinto cleansing ceremony, knocked down the sheds, made a lawn, sanded the exterior and had drama with the gutters. But the real challenge was always going to be to make the house livable by our 2020 standards. So in this video, I'm going to show you our renovation design and the progress that we've made so far. So first, let's flash back to the plan of the house when we bought it. It's a pretty typical layout for a house of this type. It's got the big genkan entrance that leads up to the two central washitsu Japanese style rooms surrounded by shoji sliding doors. On the right there is another washitsu. This one has what is called a horigotatsu. It's similar to a kotatsu, which is a heated table that you sit on the floor at, covering your legs with a blanket. A horigotatsu is recessed, so you can sit with your feet down. I love these compared to a regular kotatsu, as I struggle to sit on the floor with my inflexible legs. The kitchen is the only Western style room in the house. It's an 80s style kitchen with wood flooring. Along this dark corridor there are the tatami bedrooms. So everyone would have slept on futons in this house. Indeed, we did not come across any beds in the cleanup. And there is only one toilet in the house, there in the corner. Now the bath section here is a lot older than the rest of the house. The main house was built around 30 years ago to replace the previous house, but they decided to keep the bathhouse. In most Japanese houses, both old and modern, there's an area here where the wash basin is, and that's where you get undressed before going into the bathroom, washing yourself clean with a bucket of water or a shower before getting into the bath. This was also a bedroom, but it was pretty dark and dank. So the new design's on the left and the original layout is on the right. As you might have noticed from the model at the beginning of the video, we're making some quite substantial changes to the house. Just a note on that model, that's not the entire house. The washitsu on the far left in the corner is not in the model because we're pretty much leaving that as is right now. Now, regarding the Carpenters, as you saw from one of my earlier videos, we've been working with the original builder of this house to do the renovation. Now, the architect and the builder spent a couple of months going through the design for the house, and then he started work. But unfortunately, his assistant backed out, and since this is a two-person job, he decided to hand over the project to another carpenter, and that's a father and son team. The father is 75, and the son is younger, I guess, similar age to me. They agreed to take over the design and the quote from the original carpenter, and they've been doing most of the work. The original carpenter still drops by time to time to check up on things. Since he lives nearby, we see him quite a lot and I talk to him quite a bit. He's going to help us out a bit later with some of the smaller projects like the furniture and possibly with the deck as well. And he's also agreed to show me some of the Miya Daiku Japanese carpentry techniques as well, which I'm quite interested in when I've got more time. And of course, we've still got the interview lined up. I spoke to him a few days ago and we're trying to arrange a date and what we're going to do. So I might go and visit some of his other works, such as temples and other houses he's built as well. So it should be interesting. One of the biggest challenges for us was to work out how to arrange the bedrooms for a family of 4, with the 2 boys having their own rooms. We didn't really want to use the room next to the bath as a bedroom, and these were really 2 rooms as one of the walls was just a thin sliding door. The positions of the windows was also an issue. So in the new design, this will be the parents' bedroom and these will be the kids' rooms. So we've got a pretty decent sized room and the kids have got quite small rooms here. That's too bad. One thing we have done is decided to claim the corridor, just to give us a bit more space in the bedrooms. So along here we've got the closets, Now, the original wall for these rooms was here. See over here, that was the mouldy wall from the roof leak. So we removed that and put in another wall over there. The ceiling in this room was quite nice, so we wanted to keep it and replicate it in the other half of the room. Unfortunately, as it was below the roof leak, the boards had rotted, but fortunately the beams were still in good condition, so we were able to keep those. Here are the carpenters putting in the new ceiling.
알았어. 오리배 넣어라.
아, 의자가.
이거 여기까지 할 거네.
근데 나 포착이 어디 있어? 어때? 네?
맞다, 딱,
응,
어디
이거.
가? 어디?
어머니.
으쌰.
맞잖아?
응.
해.
이렇게 있으면 가만히 놔.
어때나?
응. 어디 좀 깎아, 거기 좀 깎아. 으쌰. 맞다. 으쌰.
그래. 보이네? 보이자. 이제 네.
전에도 너쯤이지? 그치? 고래가
The washitsu here will become the main living room. The centerpiece of this room is the wood burning stove, which is located here. The stove will have its flue going straight up through this chimney. It's not the prettiest chimney in the world, but it's not really visible from the ground anyway, and we just wanted it strong enough to be able to stand up to typhoons. The stove will sit on a stone surround. We're going to use a stone called oyaishi. It's a volcanic fireproof stone that is only found in a small area of Tochigi Prefecture, which neighbours Ibaraki, the prefecture that we are in. Removing the kitchen ceiling to expose the beams rightly raised questions about heating. It's certainly something to be concerned about. We'll see how effective the wood burning stove is in terms of providing us heat during the winter. We're installing a ceiling fan above the kitchen to rotate the air. I did see in another YouTube video of another Japanese house renovation that also had high ceilings, and they used a temporary perspex ceiling during winter. I think someone in the comments also suggested that too. It's an option if need be. I know a lot of you are keen to discuss insulation, but I think I'll do a separate video on that as it's a pretty big topic and we're still working on a few things. So you can see here that the kitchen has moved down with the wall to the adjoining room removed. One of the reasons for doing this was to make the house a little bit more compact and to bring the kitchen and living room closer together. Another reason was to create space for an extra toilet in addition to the existing one. We'd initially thought to put the toilet in the bath section over there, but wanted to have it a little bit closer to the central living area. We also wanted to make a second entrance. The Genkan's really nice, but it's not in the most convenient of locations away from the driveway. which comes from this way, and we park the cars around here. So we thought here would be a good place for that second entrance, and it also allowed us to have a decent sized pantry in the area here. So above that it creates a mezzanine and I guess a bit of extra space. This mezzanine area also provides a bit of extra support to the walls and posts, some of which we're reinforcing for a bit of additional strength. So we're also getting stairs put in. According to the original carpenter, they were planning to build stairs, but it never happened. So they're going to go up here to the mezzanine, then up to the second floor. By the way, that's a glass wall up the top there, though some of those will be windows that we can open in case we want to let air through. So the bathroom's moving from here to here. I really wanted a hinoki wood bath and bathroom. Also something that could really open up to the outside to give an outdoor hot springs feel. But I've had to cut back a bit of my ambitions there. Unfortunately, I have a pretty poor track record of cleaning the bathroom, i.e. pretty much I've never cleaned the bathroom, and that has come back to bite me big time. So I'm having to compromise a bit with a half unit bath. So I'll get hinoki wood walls, but we'll have a standard bath floor and ceiling. It'll be a lot easier to maintain. By the way, we found another hornet's nest in the roof there, as well as a bit of rot and fungus, which we'll need to fix. So this area here is where I'm planning to make a Japanese Zen garden. I'd also wanted to put in a koi fish pond, but that idea got nixed. So you'll be able to look out at the garden from the bath. You'll also be able to look at it and access it from the bedrooms, which will be pretty nice. The room over here will become a storage room where we can keep lots of stock like bags of rice and my tea. You know, the stuff that I usually drink. About the second floor, I'm going to work on that myself later after we move in, once the first floor is done. So there are no concrete plans yet, but the idea is to make one big room, a sort of utility room where kids can play when it's raining or for guests to stay in. There are a few little nooks that we're going to use as home offices for my wife and myself. There's going to be plenty to do once we move. There's a deck drawn in here, but that's not exactly what we're doing. I want to make a deck all the way around the house, like a temple deck. And I'm going to do this myself too. You might have noticed that we're not going to be using tatami in most of the house except for the corner washitsu over there. There are a few reasons for that, and it's pretty reflective of the trend away from tatami in Japan. A lot of it's due to convenience. I asked some people why they didn't like tatami, and for most it's the hassle of cleaning it. Also, more people are sleeping in beds rather than on a futon, and they're using Western style sofas and dining tables which aren't really designed to be put on a tatami. So we're going for a wood floor in most places, mostly a 3 cm thick sugi, which is a Japanese cedar. We decided on a light colour instead of the dark floors you see in many renovated kominka. I mean, I like the dark floors, especially at a restaurant or a cafe, but I think for everyday living I prefer something a bit brighter. By the way, we're moving that horigotatsu that I mentioned earlier over to that corner washitsu room, so we're keeping that. In a couple of weeks I'm planning to do a live video, so check out the description for a date for that, and there you can ask me more specific questions about this house or anything else, stuff that I haven't covered in any of my other videos. Thanks for watching, I hope you found that interesting. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below or in the upcoming live broadcast. Please subscribe, otherwise I'll see you next time.